tough competitors or opponents, whichever word you want to work, or components. We'll go with that.
A great combination of the two. Now, before we get started, because I know we're moments away from doing so, the object of Dragon Warrior is for our racers to find and defeat the evil Dragon Lord. They'll be collecting certain key items to trade in for the Rainbow Drop, which will allow them to enter Charlotte Castle, home of the Dragon Lord, and we'll see what 3 of those possible items might be in these chests as they are getting the instructions from the king as we speak.
And it looks like missed the first chest, but we have an herb and the obligatory magic key with no spells, and looks like it was a fighter's ring as well. And do you see what I see, Ferran? We are starting this race with a cod already.
Yeah, that is an interesting, an interesting character sprite, which I guess I missed somewhere along the way. But yes, so yeah, not an official addition to the death count, but pretty close. We do have a cave off to the west, though. Our runners are also going to be fighting enemies one at a time to get experience and levels to get stronger, as well as gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to help in their quest. But the Druin, not necessarily the enemy to go for, as they have that Dragon Lord breath.
I believe that is the ghost sprite from Dragon Warrior 3, which that is currently an unreleased sprite. That is the surprise Xarnax was alluding to earlier, it would seem. And we have Ruins, with the Dragon Lord 2 breath.
Yeah, mcgrew has found that out not once but twice here in the early going.
Well, we finally do get to level 2 over on Xarnax's side, but not much to be had in power, but good lord, that HP, 43 HP increase.
It's gotta be one of the bigger ones that we've seen here on stream for Dragon Warrior Randomizer in the tournament.
It is certainly one of the larger stat increases that we've seen. I believe the record goes to a 59 MP increase as far as the largest stat increase we've seen.
But still impressive nonetheless. Now that fighter's ring that both of our runners had put on, at least I believe they put them on, what that does is when equipped, it adds 2 additional attack power to your total.
And seeing as how level 2 had no strength increase, that 2 additional attack power is going to be well needed for the early levels at least.
And here comes level 2 for mcgrew. About 50 seconds behind Xarnax in that regard. Now, as mentioned in the outset here, Xarnax is looking to earn a first-round bye in the bracket stage, has already qualified. mcgrew, with a victory here over Xarnax, will qualify for the bracket stage of the tournament. Should Xarnax get the victory here, mcgrew still has a chance to enter the bracket stage, but it will be the last chance through that last chance play-in race that will be occurring, I believe, 10 days from now. Given the way this stacked seed has gone, this, I believe, will pretty much determine the balance of how many spots will be available in that play-in race.
Alright, we're going to get level 3, and we do actually get power this time. We have a 9 strength increase, 7 speed, 10 HP, and 2 magic. Not bad. And we finally see a spell, but it's only sleep. Certainly a versatile utility spell, but early on, probably not going to see a lot of use out of it.
Especially, well, maybe to get away from a Stone Man once mcgrew gets there, but not able to do so now, and Hurtmore puts it out.
Well, let's see. Traverse the swamp, but here's a Stone Man, so...
Yeah, those Stone Men, at least putting them to sleep, will be able to allow our runners to get away. Oh, Wow, and that's the advantage of that that early hit point gain as Xarnax able to take a Dragon Lord breath from the Druid, but not able to take a second one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Xarnax finding out the hard way what Druids have for him.
But most impressive is the fact that they have over 72 hit points at level 3, and now mcgrew going to find that out as well.
Yeah, at least over on Xarnax's side, he's going with the Strength HP build at 84. Usually, you're getting that HP range around like level 10, 11 is when you start seeing that number, so that is a large amount of HP this early on.
So you almost have to wonder, with that high of an HP build, is agility going to be scarce? And if so, is that going to give mcgrew a potential advantage down the road? Well, not much of an advantage there with the green dragon, as Xarnax trying to chip away at this Druid here by using that sleep spell, and is able to do so to get up to 37 experience and get a level.
And you were just talking about how much agility is going to be received, and well, that level didn't have any, so.
So both of our runners very capable here in utilizing that sleep spell to take on enemies that they might otherwise not quite be powerful enough for. As you see the statistics on the bottom of the screen, the red means that it's subpar to start, and the white, well, means they're making the climb. So we're going to be a little bit, actually it may not be too far here before you see the orange numbers on the hit points, meaning that you would think about it for the Dragon Lord, but we're still a little ways away from that. But the fact that we're even contemplating talking about those numbers at level 3 and 4.
Yeah, so far the agility stats still in the red at level 4 on a strength HP build, but we'll definitely be seeing orange on the HPs sooner than later.
And mcgrew taking out a Warlock and is going to go to level 4 also. And there is that Stone Man again. Oh, and the Hurtmore takes out mcgrew.
And not only do we have the Swamp blocking any progression to other parts of the continent, but there's the Stonemen that are blocking any progression to other parts of the continent as well.
Yeah, pretty much creating a wall for which no one can pass, although mcgrew able to put the Stone Man to sleep, trying to attack. Maybe it was a miskey and now is running away. Meanwhile, Xarnax able to take out a Drakema for 20. So now a nice 24 experience lead, a little close to that, but that can easily be turned around.
And we see Green Dragons also using the Hurtmore spell here.
And a Magiwyvern getting the jump on Xarnax, and that's going to send him back. So early leveling looks to be the key, but pretty close to the start, there are a lot of enemies that are closer to late game enemies that they're experiencing very early on here. This is now a combined 11 deaths in the first 9 minutes of this race.
And so far it seems Xarnax has the right idea here with just keep grinding away on the enemies that you can take out, and perhaps looking to see a healing spell, a hurt, something a little bit more effective to dealing with these stonemen that are barring them.
And now this Magician is going to give Xarnax level 5. And And yes, there it is at level 5. You see the hit points already in that orange range. But all the rest of the stats still have a lot of catching up to do. Xarnax was able to get the Magic Wyvern to sleep, but was perhaps a little on the aggressive side, trying to attack it down, and ends up getting back to the castle for his efforts. mcgrew, meanwhile, 1 experience point away from level 5.
Oh boy, look at this swamp.
They did not. This wasn't a big swamp seed, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, but that is a ton of swamp. So the swamp is really, aside from the stonemen, is really barring them from exploring anywhere right now. Even with all that health.
Yeah, apart from the cave to their west, did we even determine what that cave was? I mean, that thing's got to a really fast start here.
I don't think we got a chance to. They explored it briefly, and that was about all we saw.
And we also saw an interesting combination on the droll of the sleep spell plus the traditional dragon breath, or baby breath as it's also known, usually doing anywhere around the, I think, 18 to 24 hit point damage range, give or take.
And mcgrew finally getting to break free from the stoneman area, and we have a Sharlock sighting.
That is the final castle they're going to want to enter down the line, as now Xarnax taking out a metal scorpion.
And a droll magi taking out a mcgrew with Dragonlord breath as well.
And that is now the combined 15th death for both of our runners in the 12 minutes of this seed so far. And Simple Sarah in chat saying it all. This is definitely some kind of start and then some.
Well, because I know you love your wrestling references, we've got a Schlobberknocker on our hands here.
Ryu Station doing his best Jim Ross or good old JR impression, and by no means am I the king, but well, we'll leave the king to giving the instructions, basically saying that death wasn't a good idea for you, which they've both heard that a combined 15 times so far.
You know, after a while, you just kind of want to look at the king, and it's like, really? You don't say. I planned on this death. This was my, this was my planned death warp. I meant this one.
Well, there are times when it's planned. It's just, so far, it hasn't been anything but planned. And now mcgrew taking the experience lead, although Xarnax now trying to put to sleep and chips away at a Wraith for 42, and that's going to get him to level 6.
Wow, and another 20 HP, and we have hurt more.
Oh, that's going to...
Level 6, 117 HP. We're 13 HP away from being able to use the Death Necklace at level 6.
And now we have an Axe Knight that isn't taken out with the first hurt more. Will the second one do? Pretty experience for Xarnax. That's going to be right into level 7.
And 126 is the HP count now. Now, while we do see what is a very nice HP stat at level 7, we have finally gained some more agility to see defense power of 10 instead of that 9 we'd been seeing. So agility is certainly going to be far and long away. So in a strength agility build may be the ticket here. As even mcgrew's at 108 at level 6.
And now he gets hurt more. Oh, and gets fire more too. Though not quite in the way that it was planned.
I think I like that. Fire and fire more. Or should we go with just blaze and blaze more?
I think they've used those in other seeds, but Amazing Toaster in chat saying someone should give this seed to mcgrew to see what went wrong. Wait a minute. Well, I think mcgrew has a first-hand knowledge of what might be going wrong with this seed.
Well, Xarnax now has his Sherlock sighting, and they are both actually breaking away finally and doing some exploration.
And now with Hurtmore, that's allowing things to bust wide open here as Xarnax now with a roughly 350 experience lead, although mcgrew now closing in, chipping away another 50 thanks to the Wolf Lord.
And mcgrew will make his way to level 7 thanks to that Star Wyvern, which is easily Hurtmore down. We finally see a stop to some of that HP growth, though, as level 8 had 0 to be had.
Yeah, just a few seconds after Xarnax got to level 8, mcgrew getting to level 7, Radiant learned at level 8. And throwing Xarnax off ever so slightly, almost about to cast Radiant in a battle. It happens, though. If you get used to just, okay, hit down once and there's Hurtmore, and now there's another spell in the mix, it throws your rhythm off a little bit.
Oh, it has happened to all of us, especially in those games where you've had heal more the whole way through, and Wolf Lords also showing that they have Dragonlord Breath. That is 3 enemies now, with Druins, Droll Magis, and Wolf Lords. But you have heal more the whole way through, and then finally, level 16, you get Hurtmore, and you throw a Hurtmore out and take a death because of it.
So a little bit of a setback, but only a little bit, and continuing to explore. And that ghost, well, I don't know if ran out of resources and just kind of walked through the swamp to take the death for.
Yeah, sadly, with no heal, they're taking a ton of damage before they can get through the swamp, and I'm a little surprised with getting Radiant now. We're not seeing what that cave was, so maybe cave wasn't important.
Or perhaps it was the tablet cave. I don't know if it was an encounter that occurred in the cave there, but it was not having the stuff inside, and they wanted to necessarily venture down there.
It is certainly possible.
Ooh, and a stop spell on Xarnax's side. And yeah.
And we do actually see mcgrew is gonna enter the cave, and it is indeed Tablet Cave, so we'll get to see what that all-important item that Erdrick hid long ago was.
You have to wonder, could it be Erdrick's token? Could it be Erdrick's sword? Could it be a torch? Could it be a magic key? That could really bust things open. Could it just be some gold? A lot of different possibilities. But it's a torch.
Yep. Just Erdrick's long-lost torch. Hey, if you put that up on eBay, you know, I swear, this torch once got used by the legendary hero Erdrick.
Bidding starts at 10 gold. But any other torch costs it. Bidding starts at 10.
Now, perhaps you don't realize that this was used by Erdrick himself. And then you have everybody wanting to know, why was he so special? Nobody remembers him. Except for the lonely old men inside of shrines. We see Armored Knights over on mcgrew's side. With plenty of HP, though. Armored Knights are not going to be a problem to farm. And actually missed it, but level 9 has Xarnax at 135 HP. We are at Death Necklace range already, and we're just going to keep climbing.
It is mind-boggling. Although, kudos to mcgrew, able to work on these Armored Knights with minimal resources and get up to level 9 here.
And even mcgrew at level 9 with the Strength Agility build is at 124, so we'll be... oh, that's just a feels bad moment. A metal slime taking out mcgrew.
In a seed that I was actually running prior to this race here, I had a lot of that as there were metal slimes everywhere. They were casting sleep and using the baby dragon breath. And I think they had to have taken me out at least 3 or 4 times.
Oh, that is always a sad sight to see when you find a metal slime and it's like, nope, you're not even worth my time.
But it was also a very heavy strength seed, so by level 12 I was at 144 strength, so I just started one-shotting him.
Now that is satisfying to be able to do.
Yes, much revenge was had.
Now we've been seeing all kinds of oddities lately. We've seen, 120, 130 plus MP seeds. We've seen over 100 agility and defense power seeds to the point where it would be very possible to defense break almost everything except for Dragon Lord 2.
I can't say that I've seen it go that high, but at least not in the tournament races here. I mean, perhaps some alternate ones here. And ooh, wizards with Dragon Lord breath.
Well, that's going to be enemy number 4. And should the grinding had to have continued, or just for fun if you wanted to, it certainly would have been not far from it, as go mode level, I believe the highest we've seen was 98 defense power, so it wasn't far from it. And that was with Silver Shield and Erdrick's armor equipped, as well as the Dragon Scale.
Now, did I miss an enemy that has the Dragon Lord 2 breath? I've seen the Wizard, the Droll Magi, and the Wolf Lord. What was the 4th one?
That would be the Druin, the first one that we saw that had it.
Oh yes, 20 minutes ago feels like forever ago. So still maintaining a combined death a minute, as that's now death number 26 here in the 25th minute, as now here comes level 10 for Xarnax.
And what a juicy MTI level it is. No HP, no MP, no spells.
MTI truly loves it.
And only, I believe that was 2 strength and 7 speed. So we were being given a ton of HP in the beginning of the game. Now the game's getting stingy with all the stats. And have we actually seen a town yet?
I don't believe we have. Maybe this is one of those seeds where it's just a metropolis gathered somewhere on the land, and there's a conglomeration of towns just all huddled together. A village, almost.
Now, it looks like mcgrew is actually right next door to Xarnax here, so they're both going to be exploring the same area. Well, if Xarnax didn't get dragged back to the castle by good old Red Dragon.
Yes, known as the Fun Police, because when they show up, the fun tends to stop.
And we have a Sparko Bridge potential here.
And we have a wizard sending mcgrew back.
No exploring the Sparkover Bridge this time. I have to imagine with all the swamp we see, all of the Hurtmoors, all of the Dragonlord 2 breaths, just all of this high damage. You know, both the runners have got to be hoping heal more, anything right now.
Well, mcgrew's hoping it's at level 10, although we know that it is not. Our runners are guaranteed to learn all 10 spells in the game by level 16. So that's one of the many things that are shuffled around, as you have seen. The overworld map is, as well as the contents of the treasure chests, as well as the search spots, which they'll get into a little bit later. The weapon and armor shop contents, once they can find one. As well as the enemy locations and their spells and abilities, because normally you wouldn't see all these different enemies with the Dragonlord 2 breath. Plus, once we get to the Dragonlord, just there in Charlotte Castle, well, instead of a fixed 130 hit points like in the vanilla version of the game, it's got a range of 150 to 165 hit points.
And Xarnax getting a rather good grind on these green dragons here, while mcgrew is grinding away on the armored knights. So, along with all of the missing towns, we've got a lot of missing caves, as we've seen the Tablet Cave, and we know that there's going to be a cave in the basement of Tantagel here, but we've yet to see any of the other caves that we have available to us as well.
And there are a lot of them out there, whether it's Garen's Grave, whether it's the Mountain Cave, the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave.
Wow, and we see...
I think that's pretty much it.
there is a few, but we see a 3, 5, 2, and a 7 on Xarnax's side for stats, but still no new spells. So we're still sitting on just Sleep, Hurt More, and Radiant at level 11. Seems like level 16 may have all the spells to itself. Oh, hey, look! A town and a cave.
Oh, mcgrew making a break for something.
And a very important town.
Welcome to Keytown. So immediately beelining over to the Magic Key Shop, and that will allow access to, among other things, the one treasure chest that's in Rimeldar locked behind 2 double doors. Or I should say 2 doors individually, and also the treasury that is in Tanagel Castle, but only able to purchase 3 keys.
Yeah, I don't see mcgrew going and spinning those keys quite yet on the doors in Rimuldar.
Yeah, there's
Look
too much
look at this cave.
potential for other things. Or, well, there was 2 more keys right there, so... Oh, no, he's going to use it on the inn. Okay. And still has enough for a key if he wants.
Yeah, perhaps a nice rest at the end before he goes exploring that cave, maybe? Ah, a nice high-quality herb locked behind 2 doors.
Well, I mean, an herb is some semblance of a way to heal, which is more than what they've had thus far, and there is the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave, because if you don't have all the items needed to get the Rainbow Drop, especially Erdrick's token, he will kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is.
And we see another town on mcgrew's side. We have Hawksness. The amount of health he has, and with the Hurtmores, although Red Dragon maybe not the best of things to see. Especially not one that can stop spell you.
Now trying to run away. Oh, and it has Hurtmore also.
And that will put an end to mcgrew's exploration for now. But he has that information. He's going to have access to that basement now. He's going to have access to the treasury. Although, he's only going to have access to one or the other. So, I would say he might want to go get some gold first.
And yes, E-Tap, it was at that moment that he realized he messed up.
One of my most favorite memes. He done goofed.
And the Green Dragon just barely able to be taken out by Xarnax, and here comes level 12.
And finally, at level 12, we get some more spells. That much-awaited heal more.
One more spell, but yes. But it is one that was worth the wait in heal more. That is correct.
It is an important spell. Heal more is very important. So, even if they got none of the others, that's the one you really want to see.
So that means that the next 4 levels will have the remaining 6 spells. And mcgrew is now back in Tanagel Castle and is probably going to purchase a key, see what's behind, and that'll also give access to the treasury.
And among those spells, Stop Spell, actually in this case, would be very important against the Stop Spell and Hurtmore spamming Red Dragons, but Xarnax finding himself a town now, and it is Cole.
And another one just to the northeast of it, and in the basement we have the Staff of Rain Cave, so let's take a look here. Erdrick's token.
Well, mcgrew has a lot of good information here. He knows where the Staff of Rain Cave is. He knows where to find the Rainbow Drop. He just needs to collect the items to be able to get them.
And yes, for those of you just joining us, there have been a lot of deaths to get things started here. All that was in the throne room was the Fighter's Ring, and the first key item was the Erdrick's token, which was just picked up about 30 seconds ago or so by Xarnax, who is now purchasing a small shield, it looks like, in the town of Cole. And meanwhile, we've got Erdrick's sword in the treasury.
Now, even though we have Hurtmore, that is still a huge find. Seeing that we haven't really seen a lot of attack power coming from our level so far, and MP is still super low, with only 44 on mcgrew's side and 56 at level 12 on Xarnax's side, so you can use that sword to take out some of the enemies that, you could hurt more in one shot, but you could also beat down with the sword in a couple of shots and save on some of that MP to hurt more of the more tougher enemies.
And we have Garanham just above Cole, but Xarnax without the key. That is correct. mcgrew has found the town of Rimmeldar and was able to purchase keys that allowed access to the treasury and Erdrick's sword. As now another death here. A very large swamp surrounding the castle and really surrounding a whole bunch of the area here, as you can see.
Indeed, there's even a couple of towns that have been flooded in this swamp. And I believe Xarnax purchased a small shield along with a half plate, as he had a little over 1,000 gold. Now he is down to no gold. And just north where mcgrew's going now, he is about to find Cole, and will also be finding Garanham, which, much to his delight, he has a key.
Well, now I'm wondering, because I know he purchased one key and used it in the treasury. I don't think there was another one, unless he went back with that. Oh, that's right, he did go back and buy some gold from there. So now here's the token for mcgrew.
Right, he did go ahead and go back to the key holder and purchased a full ring of keys. So we only have 3 caves left here. One will be the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, and then Mountain Cave and the Grave. And question chat, do they use the same seed for randomization? Yes, all races are done with the same seed in the interest of fairness. Alright, looks like mcgrew's going to do a little bit of shopping, pick up some herbs before he decides to explore that cave. Can't say I blame him. With not having heal more, or heal at the moment, herbs are going to be the only way he can heal.
But still a great find of the silver harp inside of Garanham. So now the huge experience lead for Xarnax, but in terms of the exploration and finding things, a huge lead for mcgrew. Just a little short of the half plate.
And the next time that mcgrew gets sent back to the castle, he can go ahead and turn in that harp and pick up his Staff of Rain as well.
That's right, mcgrew with the knowledge that the Staff of Rain cave is behind him. We've got the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight cave in Garanham, and it's got a set of wings.
That's not a bad thing now. If we don't see return before we go to fight the Dragon Lord, which it has happened, a set of wings will be your easy way of getting back. In this case, it's not so bad since it's only a brisk walk to Sherlock this time, but you still don't want to take the walk of shame.
Definitely not, as both of our runners now with very ample hit points. And Xarnax, I guess, just kind of running and grinding at the same time. Now jumping out to a roughly 1,900 experience lead. But is still looking for the harp as the token, but is mainly looking for keys in Rimmeldar, or hoping to find one of the caves that might have access to them, as 2 caves are still yet to be found, and both of them with a lot of treasure chests in tow. Garen's Grave and the Mountain Cave.
And actually, I did leave one more off of my list. We also haven't seen the Swamp Cave, so Mountain and Grave could be on the other side of the swamp.
Oh, that is true. As we have a half plate and small shield purchase on mcgrew's side. And Xarnax is back in Garanham, going to stop at the inn. Now again, this race very crucial for both of our runners. Xarnax looking for a bye into the second round of the bracket stage. For mcgrew, a victory will clinch a bracket stage spot in the first round. A loss for Xarnax means a first round matchup in the bracket stage. A loss for mcgrew means the only way to qualify is via the last chance play-in a week and a half from now. And back into Rimalder goes mcgrew to stop at the inn, replenish the resources.
Well, we see a few more spells here. We have Return, and I saw Stop spell out as well at level 13.
So 6 of the 10 spells acquired, and now the other 4 will come in the next 3 levels. And Xarnax upgrading to a broadsword. And here comes level 11 for mcgrew. As our runners are heading along here, the path to where they're currently at, mcgrew in the first round beating Bent Glass Tube, falling to High Spirits in the second round, defeating Game Boy F9 in round 3, and in the most recent round falling to Up to NG by less than 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Xarnax at the 3-1 stage here, beating Jake Coper in the first round, defeating Edgeworth in the second round in a sub-56-minute race. That one was a quickie. Losing to Centroid41 in the third round, and as you saw earlier here this evening on Randomizer42, defeating Mr. Holmes by just 1 minute exactly.
And we have a grave for Xarnax, so finally seeing another cave. mcgrew, meanwhile, is in a cave as well, but I'm going to go with maybe Swamp due to the large amount of upwards movement here. And how about that? A town right outside the swamp. Great location.
Meanwhile, there is the magic key for Xarnax being found inside Garen's grave along with the death necklace.
And Xarnax smartly choosing to save that key, as he's not found Rimalder yet. He could have used the key to explore the last 2 chests in that grave, but then he would once again be without keys.
And it seems like a bit of a trek back.
Oh, he might actually be deciding to go in and farm that key, or at least grab 1 extra key so he can do his exploration. So we'll see if he decides to go further down into the grave now that he has 2 keys and he has that 1 extra to spare, and that looks to be exactly what he's doing. That is actually a very smart play on his part. I have to be honest, in my own thoughts, what I probably would have done is I would have likely either gone straight down to the last 2 chests in the grave and used my key, or would have done exactly what I thought he was going to do, which is exited the cave, kept my key, and just came back to it later. And so far, I think the only thing we're missing now, I believe, is going to be the Mountain Cave and Cantlim. And on mcgrew's side, checking the Swamp Spike tile, which is a blue dragon, so potentially going to go ahead and go for a early princess rescue here. And Etep noting it'd be hard to get a gold grind going when it's being difficult to die with all of the HP. However, those Droll Magi's with Dragonlord Breath, they will help you very quickly to do so. And it actually looks like mcgrew's going to go ahead and go with a grind here on the blue dragons instead of trying to get the princess rescued. Or maybe both. Well, speaking of that Droll Magi with the Dragonlord Breath, there it is to help him along the way if that's what he wants to do here. And to answer the question in chat, that is exactly what Xarnax is. He is playing as one of the ghosts for Dragon Warrior 3.
It is an interesting venture, to say the least. mcgrew, meanwhile, has the princess. And is going to utilize that to get the coordinates once we find out where they are. If there are any.
And a question in chat, didn't Dragon Warrior 2 have a casket for the dead? I believe so, yes.
Yep, I had those sprites quite a bit when I played Dragon Warrior 2. And Xarnax was about to open the treasury, but opted against it. Is going to head on over and purchase some more keys.
That would have certainly been a costly mistake on his part. And he will be happy to have gotten a key and been able to explore this treasury, as he will be picking up his sword now as well. Although I don't believe we have seen any silver shields to be purchased so far, have we?
I don't believe so, but we do have, we have the gold grind in effect.
Well, we do still have Cantlin left to be found, and it has a shopping mall with plenty of stores, and one of them may have the silver shield. It has a 1 in 3 chance of being there at least.
Now, the reason that Xarnax is able to do this here is that chests respawn every time you go to the overworld map, but due to the limitations of programming at the time the game was made, the game only tracks up to 8 treasure chests as opened. Every chest opened beyond that 8th chest can be taken over and over again. Oh, here's mcgrew in Cantlin, and making a direct line down to the old man who will give the coordinates.
And not only do we see Cantlin from mcgrew, but just a little further away, we have our last cave, which will be the mountain cave. So mcgrew will be picking up his stones of sunlight, as it must be in there.
And no coordinates this time around.
Alright, so Fairy Flute is likely to be in one of those chests in the mountain cave, or it may be in Sharlock. But what that does mean for mcgrew is he knows exactly what is in Hawksness now, and that is going to be Erdrick's armor.
And standing in the way is what is affectionately known as the Fun Police, the Red Dragon.
With plenty of Stop Spell and Hurt More for you. The good news is if mcgrew, I believe it was level 13, if he can get to level 13 prior to that, he will also have Stop Spell and can put a stop to the Red Dragon Stop Spell and Hurt More.
mcgrew trying to figure out what's best to sell, and opts to sell a torch, perhaps to free up some inventory. And the Dragon's Tail being put on for 2 additional defense. And here's the Mountain Cave.
And the good news for mcgrew here is, unless he decides he wants to set up a gold grind, which he does not have to do, all he has to do is find the Stones of Sunlight and just exit right back out. As Xarnax finds Hawksness, and I believe this is his first finding of Hawksness, and just a little ways south, he will find Wamulder. And speaking of those Stones of Sunlight, the first chest of the mountain cave is the stones. But mcgrew is going to go ahead and finish searching it out, it looks like.
Which makes sense. I mean, given the possibility of using the Death Necklace, considering how high both of their hit points are, it certainly is plausible. And there's a Dragon Scale, which I believe was just dropped by him.
I'm almost positive that mcgrew already picked up a Death Necklace.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was in the it was in Garen's grave. So I think both of them should have it by now.
Oh, wait. No, you're right.
No,
if it was in graves, yeah, mcgrew has yet to find the grave. That's why he's still exploring here, perhaps.
That's right.
I'll be
Xarnax
disappointed then.
explored the grave. So we also had some big bucks, some more big bucks, and I missed what that fourth chest was.
I believe that was a set of wings. Alright, so Xarnax putting that stop spell that he had received at level 13 to good use on this red dragon here. So he will be picking up his armor. However, he still has a fair amount of exploration to continue doing, as he's yet to see, although he'll see it shortly, he's yet to see the Rainbow Drop Cave. He will know he no longer needs to search out Cantlin, but he is going to have to still find the Mountain Cave to get his Stones of Sunlight. Whereas mcgrew has found everything, he just needs to go back to Hawksness and get his armor. And only a 1500 experience point lead at this point as well. So mcgrew has been able to reduce that lead a fair amount now. And mcgrew getting to level 13 will be happy to see that stop spell. Hopefully he remembers what was in store for him in Hawksness.
So mcgrew looks like heading over and trading in, and meanwhile here's level 14 for Xarnax.
And now the MP is coming quick with 15 on that level, and we are at level 14, 152 HP. We are at the point where you cannot overheal yourself with Heal More anymore. There does come a point where as much HP as you get, you'll be able to use Heal More against Dragonlord 2, and you will receive every bit of that HP from that Heal More spell, as it won't be able to heal above a certain amount.
Xarnax working on a red dragon here on the overworld and getting the max 255 experience. So he's going to stay at the inn with all that money.
Sorry, I had to step away for just a moment. I didn't see what happened with Xarnax. Did he take a death to the Red Dragons? Alright, I see mcgrew picks up his Rainbow Drop. Meanwhile, Xarnax has found his way back into Garrenham and will pick up his Silver Harp. And we will see mcgrew go to Hawksness, and he will be picking up his armor in just a moment, and he will be in full grind mode at that point.
The ever-popular grind and go mode.
And the good news for mcgrew here is, once he gets that armor, he takes significantly less damage from the red dragons. So he can actually just stay here in Hawksness, grind away, return down to Rimmeldar, heal back up, and just keep going at his grind while Xarnax still has to do exploration.
True, Xarnax has to find the mountain cave, which will have the stones of sunlight.
Xarnax does still need to find the mountain cave. He won't need to worry about Cantlin unless he really wants to see if the fairies' flute is on the world.
But we know that it is not. It is somewhere in the 7 treasure chests inside of Charlotte Castle.
Yes, we know that.
Yeah, at this point, between our 2 runners, all of the 23 chests in the, well, outside of Charlotte, I should say, have been found.
Yeah, we do still have the chest in Charlotte, which we know by elimination the fairies' flute is hiding there. May not be necessary, but it is there.
The only way it would be necessary at this point is if the Guardian right before the Dragon Lord is a golem.
And that's only depending on, we haven't seen golems in the overworld so far, so that also would depend on what the golems would have in store. If they're as pleasant to deal with as these red dragons are, well, we may not worry about them so much.
And mcgrew just opting to hack away at the red dragons, not even bothering with the stop spell. Oh, now he is.
Well, he has already stopped their spell. And a question from our restreamer, Mathical, did he ever find the staff cave? I believe Xarnax did actually check the basement of Tantagel and did see it was the Staffarine cave, but did not have his harp at the time.
So now Xarnax looking around, trying to finalize and get these stones of sunlight before heading back and taking care of those errands.
And I believe that cave that Xarnax just entered is, yes, that is South Swamp, so he will be finding the other continent himself. We'll see there's nothing to be had except for Breckenary. Meanwhile, mcgrew will go ahead and get to level 14 now. And mcgrew did indeed purchase a large shield, we see, as he checks his stats at level 14 to see if he's ready to go for the Dragon Lord or not. You know, I have to say, it's rather surprising for a strength agility build on mcgrew's side. He has a large shield, he has Erdrick's armor, and he's level 14. And he only has 8 more defense power than Xarnax does. And that is largely due in part to him having that large shield.
Well, you can see the differential between the agility is a negligible 3, whereas the difference in hit points is 13.
Yeah, getting a very good comparison of the 2 builds right now. And in this case, not looking so much like we really needed to do a strength agility seed, as it's not really paying off for mcgrew. But at the same time, it's not really hurting him either, as he has well over the amount of HP he would ever need to have.
But what is ailing both of our runners at this point is strength. Just 69 strength here at level 14 between their fighter's ring and the Erdrick sword. Only 111 attack power. If they were, which they wouldn't, but if they were to think about going after the Dragon Lord at this point, their damage would be minimal at best. It would be, gosh, what?
We would
5
see,
2 to 5 or something like that?
Yeah, it would be 2 minimum and 5 maximum. That would be a very long fight. And
with only 10 heal mores, it wouldn't be that long of a fight that would lead to victory.
It would only be about 30-ish hits.
Well, that's at max roll.
Well, I mean, RNG, you know, gotta have good RNG on your side if you're gonna go after the Dragon Lord on that attack power. And a large shield for Xarnax, so we're gonna actually see the exact difference here in just a moment between their defense powers at the same level. 2. A whole whopping 2. And we have the ghostly tour for Gwaylin now.
There's a mentioning in chat by Xarnax, our tracker, that the strength and defense not even in the orange yet. As far as the defense, it won't hit the orange until at least 71, and in the case of the strength, you won't see it at orange until 80. So 11 strength to even get into the orange bracket.
And you really do want to see that defense power hit the orange, because at our current defense power, the Dragon Lord 2 fight would be hitting you for over 50 damage with physical hits. Mind you, our current HP, that's not such a problem, but it does make it difficult to get extra hits in.
Yeah, if I'm doing the math right, at 69 for mcgrew, it would be a differential of 26 to 52. In Xarnax's case, 26 to 53.
And speaking of Xarnax, he is giving the princess the full tour of the castle before returning her as well. Gonna go ahead and take her to say hi to the lonely old man hiding in the Staff for Rain cave. Meanwhile, mcgrew back at his red dragon grind, and only 2 red dragons away from surpassing Xarnax in experience right now. Oh, and Xarnax putting on the death necklace already. Not too sure as to why. He doesn't actually need to go back into the castle, but he can't return the princess either.
Maybe realizing that there's no need to utilize the princess, is just going to carry her around for swag, figuring at this point there's no need to utilize the coordinates at this point, or realizing that there are no coordinates because everything that's needed has been acquired: Erdrick's armor and Erdrick's token.
Certainly an interesting choice to make here. I mean, he does still have to find the mountain cave and pick up his stones of sunlight, and then get his rainbow drop as well. Thankfully, none of those require him going back into the castle, though. Meanwhile, we see on mcgrew's side, there is our speed increase. 19 speed, finally at level 15. We're still not at the required stats that we want to see, but we do see that the agility stat has turned green now. Defense power is orange and is actually getting very close to that area you really want to see defense power to be.
Yes, but the key number there from 14 to 15, 0 strength gain.
Yeah, that 0 strength is going to hurt, and Xarnax does find himself the mountain cave, so he will be getting his stones of sunlight very quickly from now. And perhaps deciding do a quick shopping trip before doing so to see if he can get his silver shield here. And there it is, behind the locked door in Cantlin. We do have a silver shield purchase for Xarnax.
So that 10 extra defense could play crucial considering how low the number is, at least at the moment. But once that gained to level 15, There you're looking into closer to ideal defense.
Well, that depends, because Xarnax is on a strength HP build, so his agility gain for level 15 may not be what mcgrew saw either.
This is true, so they may counterbalance one another.
Well, there is the stones for Xarnax. Checks for the outside spell, sees he doesn't have it, so I'm assuming he'll be quickly walking right back out of that cave. Meanwhile, mcgrew has managed to take about 1,100 point experience lead with grinding away on these red dragons in Hawksness. And at this point, he's really only looking for about another 9 attack power, as he doesn't have the death necklace, so that's not viable for him. Never mind.
True, the attack boosts on Xarnax's side because of the donning of the death necklace, and here comes level 15.
And we do actually see, while not as much of an increase, still a 17 speed increase for Xarnax on a strength HP build, only 2 less than what mcgrew received. So he will actually have, with picking up that silver shield, he will have 86 defense power, which means he is going to be actually defense breaking a few of the enemies that are in the end game now. Not defense breaking the golems, red dragons, or the armored knights yet, but I believe he is quite close to werewolves and should already be defense breaking the wizards now.
With exactly 86 defense, Xarnax is able to damage break the wizards, werewolves, and star wyverns, yes.
Okay, so werewolves were in. I couldn't quite remember that one.
Next up with an additional 2 defense points would be the green dragon at 88.
And the question here is, will he be able to catch up, as mcgrew is at, well, he was at about 15, now he's at about 1,300 experience deficit, and has already collected all of the items he needs, whereas Xarnax does still need to go ahead and turn in the items to pick up his rainbow drop. And I believe one more of those red dragons will take mcgrew to level 16.
Yep, 9750, the target number to get to level 16, and the sea wolf completely broke my train of thought.
And Xarnax also seems to be going with the grind in Hawksness before turning in his items and picking up his rainbow drop. I'm a little curious as to why neither decided that the Swamp Cave, which had blue dragons, would have been better. I mean, you do have the option of stop spelling the red dragons, it's just, would it have been quicker? And wow, a 10 power increase at level 16 for mcgrew. That's not going to be enough to get him there. Now, this is where Xarnax is going to have the advantage, is once Xarnax hits 16, he can actually go and fight Dragonlord, because he will be at 131 attack power, having already put on the death necklace.
So the dual grindings, mcgrew now looking to get to level 17, which is going to be 12,000 experience exactly, so another little over 2,000 to go. Actually, a little under now.
That's going to be about another, I believe, 8 of these red dragons to get him there. Meanwhile, Xarnax taking out another only needs about 900, so 4 more red dragons will get Xarnax to level 16, and he'll have a decision to make at that point. Does he go to Dragon Lord with what he's got? I personally don't see any reason not to.
And up to NG noting, yes, that mcgrew does not have the Death Necklace. That was in the upper 3 chests in Garen's grave, which Xarnax found, but mcgrew did not.
And if you're in our runner's shoes and Xarnax's, you have to be thinking, man, I explored that grave and there was nothing useful in it but the Death Necklace, and took me forever to get the mountain cave. Whereas mcgrew has to be thinking, didn't even have to explore the grave. So, that's a lot of time I didn't spend doing so.
However, given the strength differential, the time saved looks to be utilized now in grinding an extra level.
Indeed.
For all we know, depending on the strength gains of 17, perhaps 2 extra levels.
Although, actually, to be fair, mcgrew is looking at doing 5 to 10 damage with 11 healmores in tow and 151 HP. It's entirely possible that you could take out Dragon Lord at 16, so if he doesn't see a big strength gain on level 17, he may just go ahead and go for it anyway.
Anticipating that there will be a good amount of double attacks.
Yeah, with 151 HP, you are guaranteed almost to get double attacks at that point. And depending on how your starting goes, you could get 3 or even 4 attacks against the Dragon Lord before will have to use a heal more.
The only potential factor, and I guess we'll see here once level 17 comes, if that defense at 80, the Dragon Lord would be attacking for anywhere between 25 to 50. So a little bit different on the calculation than our runners are used to.
Yeah, it's definitely not a for sure thing. It is risky, but it is possible. Meanwhile, Xarnax does reach level 16, will now be at 131 attack power, 87 defense with having picked up the Silver Shield, and is still actually at enough HP with putting on the Death Necklace. 123 HP, still can pull off doubles. That is an insane amount of HP. And we only have about 4 more red dragons, working on one of those 4 right now for mcgrew, before we will see level 17.
I'm just doing the math. If the Death Necklace were not on right now, you would see Xarnax with a maximum of 164 hit points.
Wow. That is a ton of HP. And speaking of math, we do know with what Xarnax has with having the Death Necklace on, that he would be doing 7 to 15 damage to the Dragon Lord. So depending on his rolls, even with all of the HP, if he runs into some really bad luck, it is not a guaranteed win for him at this point either.
So we certainly shall see, as now just 2 more red dragons for mcgrew before level 17 will hit here.
And looks like a quick herb count check for Xarnax. Perhaps we'll go ahead and restock his herbs before he does head into Charlock. And picking off an Armor Knight along the way. Perhaps wanting to see if he can grind 1 more level along the way as well. And this will be the last red dragon mcgrew needs here in order to hit 17. And I'm willing to bet that depending on what the attack power is, if it's, I would say, 5 attack power or higher. For sure if it's higher, but if he gets at least 5 attack power, I'd say he'd go for it at that.
And what a way to close it out with a critical hit, an excellent move for 69. And that's going to get him to level 17, but only 3 power. 3, 3, 5, and 2. And oh, let's think about this now.
Yeah, that gets him to 6 and 12, averaging 9. It makes his chances a lot better, but still very risky. Oh, that's what it was. Xarnax had forgot to go grab his rainbow drop after his grind. I see what happened now.
So it looks like mcgrew is going to opt to go to level 18.
And that will be 14,250 for that level. Meanwhile, if Xarnax does choose to grind on his way down to 17, it will cost him some time doing so, but that extra 3 attack power that we saw would put him at 134, which increases his damage ranges to 8 to 17, giving an average of, I want to say, 12?
12 and a half, yeah.
But still not a guarantee, but I would really like his chances at that point. But it doesn't look like he wants to grind along the way, ignoring red dragons, or green dragon. Well, maybe so. He's going with the Star Wyvern, so ignoring the green dragons, but fighting the Star Wyvern. So he does seem to be grinding along the way.
Well, it looks like what he's going for is any enemy that he knows he has damage broken, Xarnax is going for here, which would include your wizards, your Star Wyverns, and your werewolves, and is going to opt to avoid anything else that's going to hit him for a ton harder. And of course, as I say that, he goes for an Axe Knight and completely disproves my theory.
And unfortunately, I believe he is what, 1 defense power away from defense breaking those Axe Knights.
No,
or is 94?
Away from the Green Dragon is 7 away from the Axe Knights.
Right, 94 is Axe Knight. That's correct.
So
I will
quite
say
a ways to go.
Something that is rather satisfying is defense breaking blue dragons. That it's satisfying to see a blue dragon hit you for only 1.
Up to NG, the reason that mcgrew does not have the death necklace, it was in Garen's grave, and mcgrew never found Garen's grave.
That is one of the unfortunate detriments of having the luck of finding all of the key items, is sometimes you miss out on something that could have been just as key of an item, such as the death necklace in this case. And seeing where mcgrew's sitting right now, he only needs 1 more red dragon, and he will hit level 18, which he is going to be hoping has that 6 attack power he's looking forward to take him to 130 minimum. But seriously, at this point, any attack power gain, I have to imagine he's going to go for it.
And we shall see here. So here comes level 18. 4 power. I think that's going to do it. 6 speed.
Ooh, and 14 more
14
MP. That gives him another 2 heal mores. That has got to do it for him. Yeah, we see him leaving. He's going for it.
But will it be too little too late, as Xarnax already on the 4th basement of Sharlock Castle?
It's all going to depend on what happens here in Sharlock, perhaps against the Guardian. If we see something none too pleasant, maybe a golem that has something like sleep and punch you in the face, it could spell disaster for Xarnax.
And
unless he decides to check.
Flag.
Yeah, but maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll check the treasury just in case.
So meanwhile, on the 5th baseman, already having used 3 of the herbs, so only with 3 left.
Meanwhile, mcgrew stocking up on his herbs. He's gonna go talk to George real quick, get his MP restored, and he will be making his way into Sharlock. And we see Xarnax is on the last floor now of Sharlock, has the Dragon Lord in his sights, so we'll see if he goes for the treasure or if he makes a beeline straight for him.
Yeah, you figure at this point there's not anything that's going to improve upon anything unless he's maybe hoping to find some herbs in there, since he had already used 3 of them. But a great walk-off there as it was down probably, about a good 50 or so hit points and was able to walk it up to 110.
Now, the thing that mcgrew does have going for him is he won't be fighting along his way. And with 89 agility, he has a good chance of running away from most of the things he's going to be encountering here. So it all depends on what this Guardian blocking the Dragon Lord is going to do to Xarnax, and what luck Xarnax has against the Dragon Lord as well.
Yeah, 11 heal mores on the part of Xarnax, and at this point, a 3 attack power differential. So those 2 extra heal mores should certainly cement it for mcgrew, but it's first a matter of getting down there, and will he do so in time?
And up to NG noting that level 16 is not a free fight, and he is correct. Level 16 is certainly not a guaranteed win. Being so close to 17, he may just go ahead and opt for completing that level and seeing if it's got a large boost in attack power for him to push him over what he wants to see.
Oh, and he had to burn a heal more as he got back attacked by the Armored Knight.
Oh, and that is really going to hurt his chances having to use that heal more, so he's definitely going to have to go to 17, hoping he gets a big boost in power here.
Well, he is only 1 enemy away, roughly, as he's 133 experience. Oh, and an Axe Knight with 130. And an Axe Knight back attacks on him.
He'll need 1 more enemy. Any enemy at this point will do, though. Meanwhile, mcgrew is on the 3rd floor, I believe, now.
He's now down to 4th floor. Gonna make the roundabout here, and it's just a couple of linear paths. And
a hero run for him on floor 4 as well. And looks like he'll do the same to floor 5. Another hero run. No encounters. And of course, the short floor, he gets an encounter.
Go figure, but here it is. Xarnax talking to the Dragon Lord. mcgrew is opting to go into the Sharlock Treasury, hoping the Death Necklace is there.
Oh, no, mcgrew. Ignore the treasury. And Dragon Lord 1 already down for Xarnax, going into Dragon Lord 2 now, but will not get a double to start with. So he'll only get his initial attack and we'll have to use a heal more. Ooh, and Xarnax risking it at 47. He does get lucky though. I believe so far we're seeing about average on these rolls.
Well, If I've got the count right here, now with that 12, he's up to 86.
And another risky attack there at 48. The Dragon Lord did 46.
Up to 108, I believe, now 116.
And Xarnax knows he's got to play with fire here. Quite literally. He's only got 2 heal mores left. Oh, he gets to score a double attack here. And he will do it.
Looks like he got it for 151. So a very low hit point standing, and perhaps the diversion to the treasury might have made the difference here. But Xarnax is now going to go to Forum 1 and qualify for a bye. Well, he will obtain a bye into the second round of the bracket stage. Get out your GGs in chat. Xarnax advancing to the second round with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 55 seconds.
And looking at the way that fight was going, Xarnax did still have 1 heal more left. He would have had 2 more attacks. So those double hits he did obtain there certainly helped, along with that last double hit and the risks he was taking on 47 and 48, and getting lucky enough to not have 48 damage done to him. It certainly helped.
And I think also the deciding to level up on the way down to get that extra level for 17, as I think it would have been a much closer decision had 16 been the level to go after the Dragon Lord. And we have our victor here in chat. Xarnax, congratulations and GG.
Thank you. Man, I'm looking at, I just pulled up the stream. This was really, really close.
Yeah, it definitely was here. I think the difference was mcgrew had never found Garen's grave and therefore never attained the death necklace. So in order to get that strength differential, to grind up to level 18.
Yeah, death necklace was an obvious play pretty early in this one.
The HP, the initial HP gain, but then throughout the seed, all of the HP was just ridiculous. I mean, even mcgrew on strength agility, he's got 166 HP. And I have to agree that level 17 at the end there, just in front of Dragon Lord, that certainly did clinch it, especially with having to use a heal more on the Armored Knight fight just before the Dragon Lord. So, Xarnax, I have to ask, what was it like being dead throughout the whole seed there? Oh, there we are. We lost Xarnax for a moment. So I have to ask Xarnax, what was it like being dead throughout the whole seed?
It felt very appropriate.
There were a number of enemies with Hurt More and the Dragon Lord breath.
Yeah, the COD counter went up very quickly, very